Okay, so I'm about to start my appeals hearing through the Department of Employment Security for pandemic unemployment assistance for small business. Back in June of 2021, the Department of Employment Security decided that all of the money that they had paid me, I owed them that money back. And it was approximately 30 grand. They called me on the phone in March of 2020 to tell me that I qualified for this program and that I would not have to pay it back. And now, all of a sudden, or should I say in 2021, all of a sudden, they decided that they had overpaid me. And it has taken a year since, almost, and I am about to have my hearing with their claims referee. I had to hire a lawyer. The lawyer, Catherine Byerly, is my attorney. She is helping me through this process, and she has been very successful in getting people off the hook for this money that the Department of Employment Security seems to think we owe them back. I am publishing this content. They can kiss my ass. I am going to let everyone know what they've been putting us through as small business owners since the beginning of the pandemic. It's completely unfair. I shouldn't be doing this. I've wasted weeks of my life preparing for this meeting. So check it out.
So presiding over today's hearing is going to be Appeals Referee Holloman. Present for the hearing is the claimant, Mr. Joshua Lloyd. Representing the claimant today is going to be Attorney Catherine Byerly. Mr. Lloyd, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I can now. Mr. Lloyd, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Attorney Byerly, would you rather me go ahead and ask him some questions, or do you want me to ask you?
You can go ahead if you would like, and then I can ask him some questions if necessary afterwards.
All right, sounds good. The genesis of this claim, Mr. Lloyd, is that you failed to file the requested documentation within 90 days of February 22nd of 2021, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing all the claimant's exhibits, when did you send all that stuff into the Division of Employment Security?
At the point I contacted Catherine Byerly, I thought the letter came to me in error because I had already submitted content leading up to the before the letter came to me telling me I needed to send new documentation in. I had already provided a significant amount of documentation, and I thought the letter had come to me asking me for the same documentation that I had previously provided, and I had already put that content in my portal.
Do you have an idea of when you submitted it originally?
Yeah, it was when I began the process of applying for pandemic unemployment assistance. It was in 2020 when your representative contacted me directly telling me I qualified for it.
All right, do you have a date in 2020? I mean, like a month at least?
I mean, it's in my documents. Hang on, I'll tell you. The website's changed a bit, so I need a minute to navigate. Yeah, I sent my initial invoices to qualify for PUA on June 11th, 2020. And then I had another document I submitted for my last pay before COVID on June 25th, 2020. And those are the documents that I thought that your message was asking me for.
All right. Prior to your eligibility date, were you employed with a company like a W-2 employer, or were you self-employed?
I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed since 2006.
All right. And what's your job?
I'm a film producer. I work in live event media production. And almost every live event was canceled up until 2022. And we're still not seeing full capacity yet.
Would it be fair to say that COVID-19 or the COVID-19 public health emergency had a direct effect on your ability to perform your job?
Yes.
In what way?
There wasn't any more work. All of the live event production jobs were canceled. Like straight up canceled.
Did you have any live events that you had committed to that were canceled due to COVID-19?
Absolutely. The one that I submitted for the Daimler project was going to be in a live event, and it was canceled due to COVID. And I even have a letter from the person who was hiring contractors for that position telling me that they could not hire me because of COVID-19. And that's in my packet. I gave it to you. You should have it in front of you now.
I believe that's one of the claimant's exhibits, is it not, Attorney Byerly?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, and when you submitted documentation with regards to your pandemic unemployment assistance claim, did you normally do that via mail, via fax, or on the online portal, like uploading it?
I had a woman call me from DES, and she told me I qualified for PUA. I said, "What's PUA?" And she told me what it was. And she said it was a new program that you were rolling out for small business owners like me. She then walked me through every single question over the phone. And then she told me I qualified. And then she asked me to submit my invoices, which I was just mentioning. And she told me that I qualified for a specific amount of money. Then she told me that I had nothing to worry about, because pandemic assistance was going to be helping my business stay afloat during the pandemic. And then I went into my portal, I uploaded all of these documents, and then within 2 weeks, I had, actually it was within a few days, I had more content in my portal from DES telling me that I was set up and that I would begin collecting my money at a rate of $432, I believe, per week until the pandemic was over. And then I also received significant cash payouts because of back pay, because I had actually applied for regular unemployment in March of 2020 when the pandemic started. And I got 2 large bulk sums of money within 6 months of being on pandemic assistance for small business. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say, but the money significantly helped me stay afloat. I did not lose my business, and I continued to pursue the work I was doing.
Mr. Lloyd.
Yes.
I was just asking generally, when you submitted documents to DES, how did you do it?
Through my documents portal, I guess.
Okay.
But everything happened over the phone. She walked me through the whole thing. And then I received a receipt for the answers I gave her, which is still in my portal.
All right. Would it be fair to say that you attempted, would it be fair to say that you made a good faith effort to submit documents and apply by all deadlines that you were aware of?
Yes.
All right. And would it be fair to say that you made a good faith attempt to submit all the requested documents?
Yes.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Attorney Byerly, is there anything else you want to ask?
No, I believe you covered all of my questions. Thank you.
No problem. This is only a one-party hearing. Normally, both parties, if it was a two-party, we'd have closing statements. Attorney Byerly or Mr. Lloyd, if you want to, was there anything else that you wanted to put on the record while we have the opportunity?
No, I do not believe. Thank you.
Okay. No, we're fine.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all very much for your time and participation in the hearing today. The hearing is now concluded, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Like, what was that? Here's Catherine. Catherine.
Oh, you got that in the bag. You're good.
What did I do right?
My mind.
What did I do right?
No, I was getting there at the end, I was like, please God, say yes, please say yes, please say yes. When he was asking you those questions at the end, I was like, please just say yes, please just say yes. No, you got that in the bag. I wouldn't blink another eye about it. You're good. I figured you would be. Like I said, I've done some with him in the past. But yeah, I wouldn't even think about it anymore. It'll be, you're good. I would bet $1,000 you're good. Like,
I'll shake your hand. I might need it for those lawyer fees.
I would not give it another thought, because that was when he asked you those last few questions at the end. I was like, oh yeah, we don't even. Like, he didn't even care what I had to say. He was already going to approve you.
I was just like, I felt like I might have overreached with the phone call thing, but it's such a nerve for me that they would call me and then lure me into it and then do what they did with him.
I know, and he, to his defense, I mean, he's just hired to do these PUA hearings. I mean, I don't. He didn't really have skin in the game, but I totally understand. It's a very sensitive, passionate topic. You are not the first one to let the appeals referee know what they got to think and what they got to say and what they think about this whole PUA process. But you're good. Like I said, I thought you were fine when I talked to you yesterday. But the questions he asked you and the way you answered, I'm completely satisfied, and you should be too. I would literally fall out my chair if for some reason it came back denied. I just don't think that's less than 1% chance that happens.
Well, I just felt like he was kind of retreating at the end. I don't know why, but
you felt like he was what at the end?
Retreating a bit, like, okay, fine, like kind of backing off.
So he had already made up his mind. He was just trying to make sure that the audio recording was correct. Because if somebody goes back and listens to this later and say, well, you didn't ask this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And so he asked you the magic things that I was going to ask you. That I told you, like what I read to you yesterday that came up, like the criteria. He's like, did the COVID-19 impact substantially ability? It's like that. You got to have that on the record. And did you make a good faith? Yes, you got to have that on the record. So you're good. I mean, he asked the magic questions. Like I said, I don't see any way in which it's not overturned and everything. It's fine. You'll be fine.
When will I hear whether or not I'm approved to be passed on this?
I'm going to say, they say 3 to 5 business days. He's probably, because we got done early, we didn't take his full hour. These are allotted in 1 hour increments, so his next hearing is not scheduled to start until 2:30.
Oh.
So he's probably going to knock it out right now.
Okay, well.
So I would think tomorrow. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably tomorrow. I think that it's that clear cut. It doesn't require a whole lot of words when he writes his decision. There's not a whole lot that needs to be wrote about it. It's just he made a good faith effort. He was clearly self-employed. I mean, like I said, it was designed for people like you. He's not going to try to deny you. It's bad a rap as ESS gets. Most of these appeals referees are pretty straight shooters. But I'm going to go on a limb and say you'll know tomorrow.
It'd be nice if when these were overturned on us, we were given some type of stipend back for our time. Because holy crap, I wasted 3-4 weeks on this project. I mean, full time, probably 120 hours I put into just thinking about it, worrying about it, putting my content together, talking to you, hiring you. I hired you last summer.
I was looking back at the notes yesterday when we were talking. It was like middle of June.
Yeah. And never mind the grief it's brought my wife.
Yeah.
I mean.
Which is the stress. They don't realize when people get those overpayment notices, like you're turning their world upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I can't pay that back.
No, and I hadn't said this, but I mean, if he puts this against me, I mean, I may be forced into not foreclosure, but bankruptcy, and I would kill myself before I'd pay them that money back. I would just literally tell them to kiss grits. Like, I would never give it back to them. Whatever it took.
The beauty of yours is they can't garnish your wages because you're self-employed.
Well, I didn't know that, but that's good. But I mean, like, I've already put cash away. And I told you that when we talked in the summer. When this all started, I had very wise men say, get your money out of your bank account right now, put it in a cash box, and keep it there right next to your guns. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I did. And I haven't had money in my bank account for over a year because of this situation. Because we don't know what the government is capable of.
Well, that's true. That part I agree with you on.
I mean, look at what they've done in Canada. So I'm just really grateful for your time. I hope this is the end of it. I do not want to go through this again. I probably will, even if times get really hard, I may never, ever ask for financial assistance again through the Department of Employment Security. I probably will never, ever do it again.
Yeah.
I'd rather go broke than deal with them the way I have over the last year. So.
Well, I can tell you what, you're not the only one, and I got a feeling they're in for a massive overhaul. Because they have really dropped the bucket on handling this.
Yeah. How many of these do you do a week now?
Probably, I'm going to average 7 a week.
You do, so at least one a day on average.
At least one a day on average, sometimes 2 or 3. It just kind of depends on my schedule. I don't like to do too many in one day just because it's a lot of work for me too. But on average, 1 a day. There are multiple days where it's at least 2, but rarely 3. But yeah, on average, about 7 a week.
Do you think that the Department of Employment Security expected so many of us to lawyer up over this issue?
You know, I think if they didn't, they should have. It's kind of one of those things like you should have known. Maybe you didn't know because I don't think anybody really has ever dealt with a pandemic like this before. But I can tell you that prior to PUA benefits and COVID benefits, people were denied unemployment for reasons similar, not the exact scenario where they requested documentation for PUA scenarios. But prior to that, they're like, when you do your weekly certifications, a lot of people would just accidentally click the wrong box, which says, did you return to work? Did you not return to work? Or did you have... Some people just inadvertently click the wrong box, and then they get denied, and then they have to hire a lawyer and go through this whole hearing, all because of a technicality, because there's no way to remedy administrative errors. It's got to be through this formal hearing process, which, to no offense, like people just aren't familiar with the process. If you've never filed an unemployment claim before, you would have no idea. So naturally, people call wanting a lawyer because it's a hearing and they get kind of freaked out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. So, I think that they should have anticipated when they sent this letter out in February of last year. They should have anticipated that the vast majority of people would either not respond or would respond incorrectly. Because to your point, they have already qualified. Why would they be resubmitting? And then when they are resubmitting, they were just very specific. Like, you could provide a statement, but it had to be an affidavit. And so, like, some of the people that I've dealt with submitted statements, but the statement wasn't a sworn statement, so they didn't accept it because it wasn't actually an affidavit. And so, like, that's my long answer to your question.
Thanks. I don't understand why they needed to go through this whole process when the entire time we were filing our weekly certifications.
Yeah.
So,
and from what I understand, talking to the DES rep, that when the federal government came down to all the states and said you had to requalify them for 2021. They made them requalify, and so I think North Carolina just dropped the ball on how to administer that new requirement. And other states may have handled it better, but I think North Carolina just had a very piss-poor policy on enforcing that new rule.
No, I've heard through the grapevine that this was happening really bad in New York and other places too. It's not just here.
Really?
And this was can you confirm this was all because of the CARES Act?
Correct.
And that was put in place by Joe Biden and his administration, correct?
Correct.
All right. That's all. I just wanted to know. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you need from me right now?
No, just sure email me tomorrow when it comes through. You'll get an email that says a new document's been uploaded to your portal. I'm going to go out on Wednesday. I'll get it tomorrow. But if not, don't panic if it's Monday or Tuesday. That's completely normal.
I'm not panicking.
I just think he'll take the next 30 minutes and knock it out. That's just my personal opinion.
That's fine. I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm tired.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Call me if you have any questions or anything.
Thank you, Catherine.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Okay. I want to thank Heather Dill McCorkle for putting me in touch with Catherine. If it weren't for my friendship to her and her husband Cassidy, I probably would have never figured this out. And I can't imagine how many people don't have a Heather and Cassidy in their life. How many people didn't know who to call? How many people didn't know where to turn? I was on the hook for $30,000 just right now. And I may have just beaten it. What's the point of all this? Why are we wasting our time doing this? Are you trying to find criminals? Because we think you're the criminal. We think you're the criminals. Big government must stop now. This is stupid. I'm Josh Lloyd and you're on the Ridge. Thanks for watching. Fucking assholes.